So the question from Giants fan Scott French was what are we thinking about when we talk about the opportunity and the challenge that the Club World Cup presents? So I'll start with the opportunity. I know, having been a part of this from 2016, that one of the overarching ambitions, if not what underpinned everything we were trying to do, was to be a club not just to make up numbers in MLS, but to be a real global club. And I think that's why you saw the investments from day one at the stadium, players, everything that we tried to do to be a world-class club and an organization. And we knew part of that was going to be required that we were qualifying for tournaments, that we were able to actually play in these global competitions, which until this tournament, that the only opportunity that presented that was to win the Champions League. And I think although that is the one trophy that does elude us, that we will chase until we get one, that was the only means through which you could get into a global club competition. And everybody knows the effort we put in to winning every time we've qualified. And unfortunately, this year didn't happen, and we lost bitterly in 2 finals. And I think with this particular group, I think there were enough guys here. And what's also important, I think, for the public to know, which may not be immediately obvious, this club has a lot of people. I would say the majority of our people that have been here from, if not the beginning, very close, so have been there through those moments, including some of these players. And so I think for the second bite at the apple of qualifying, knowing that we did not, I think, throw our best punch against Leon in the final, was certainly something that we wanted to take full advantage of. So I just want to recognize the effort of the players and staff, how they rose to the occasion. That was, for anybody there, I think was the best environment of a club game I've ever seen in the States. I can't say I've been to all of them, but I feel like I have a pretty good perspective on the history of club football here. So I want to just start by congratulating the guys, and it was such a proud moment for all of us to be there to witness it. Not just winning, but how we played and how we got after it, and how the manner in which we went about the game under all that pressure and all the high stakes and what have you. Now to have this opportunity that we would say we sought out to achieve from the get-go, to be in this global tournament, it's incredible. And to think, we go through our normal routine, and I had a pinch me moment, and this is no disrespect, but I just think to speak to the magnitude of the occasion, we're going through our process, scouting, opposition analysis, and what have you, and you're doing your normal video meetings, and I'm sitting there, and the last game we did is, LAFC Kansas City, and I sat there and I was like, the next time I look at the screen, it's going to say LAFC versus Chelsea, and that it's just, so there have been so many of these different things, as well as the recognition that we received globally from the game and the international recognition that it received. So the opportunity, amazing, and as you can tell, I can go on and on about it, and it's an opportunity we want to take full advantage of. But the second part of your question is certainly a valid one, is the challenge. And we're under no illusion, nor were we, about what it would take to qualify for the tournament against a great America team, is now the 3 teams that we're going to face, none of whom we could ever even possibly underestimate. So for us, it's a chance to go out, show what we can do. I think the worst thing we could possibly do would be to go in overawed against these teams. And so I think for us, in typical LAFC fashion, we just have to go for it, throw our best punch, and see what happens.
What constitutes success?
For me, I hope the result rewards this, but for me, it is about representing who we are, how we want to play. And to me, I think the biggest thing is, are we going to come out of this tournament, whenever that is, at whatever stage that is did we show up and show what LAFC is about? Did the guys go out and play with bravery? Did they show that they know that to be at this club, this is the type of stage that we want to belong, not just to be a participant, but to really go for it? And I think that's not an easy task, and I know we're all really excited about it. And we'll be sitting here Monday night with our first data point as to how that goes. But I do think that this group, despite not necessarily being the smooth and linear progression that you want to see from day one in a team, I do feel like this group has really grown through some of these disappointments, whether that was this year, whether it was in years past. And I remember I sent a note out to our organization that, like, what you saw on people's faces when you were like, oh my gosh, we had just beat, and now what this means is that in that celebration, the disappointment was in that celebration. That like, you can't separate the two. That I think what made the moment and the opportunity so great was also those that have been here and understand what it has taken to get here.
I have one other one, which is you're getting 9.55 million with the opportunity to make more.
Mm-hmm.
How does that money impact this club? How do you use it?
Mm-hmm.
How much is this going to go towards bringing in players?
Yeah, I won't give you the dollar and cent value as to how we'll carve that up. Obviously, I think everybody knows that LAFC is what it is because of what we do on the field and off the field, and a big part of that is we run a good business, and that is thanks to a lot of people, very smart people, some of whom have been here from the beginning, but our executive team all the way through our senior leaders and frankly all of the staff here, whether it's football operations or business operations. So we do run a business. I think there are very few clubs in the world for whom nearly $10 million would be an afterthought. So it will certainly help the business. What I think everybody knows about our ownership is they're not in this to make money. They're in this as a commitment to the city, to the club, and part of that is running a business. But we will utilize those funds in a way that will certainly help the team.
John, soccer in America is in a slightly strange moment right at this moment in time. We're a year out from the World Cup, yet the national team has lost 4 straight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird kind of time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that yourselves and the other MLS teams in the Club World Cup can maybe do something this summer to elevate a little bit of domestic excitement?
I would certainly hope so. I think for us, we are honored at this opportunity, firstly, to represent this amazing city, this amazing club, but we do know that we're also representing MLS, and I think us, Seattle, and Miami know that responsibility, and I do think that this league is underrated, and I think a lot of it is just because it doesn't necessarily have the same exposure globally, and I think hopefully a good run, hopefully from us, will help show the level, that this league, because I've spoken to, I hear your accent, I've spoken to people from all over the world that come to watch LAFC, and it's eye-opening, and to me it's unfortunate that they don't already know that, but to some it does take this real exposure, and to be a part of this first ever World Cup, I think provides that opportunity for us, Miami and Seattle, and certainly something we don't take lightly.
If I may, for a guy like Giroud, when he came here, and maybe Hugo as well, they probably were justified in thinking that their chances to play against teams like Chelsea in meaningful global competitions had perhaps passed them by. A couple of months ago, that opportunity wasn't even here. What do you think it maybe means for someone like Giroud playing against a former team, kickoff game? Must be a moment for him.
Certainly, I think you'd be right. I don't think anybody would have been predicting that this would happen. And over the last few months, when we have heard the rumors about this possibility, we all got very excited. And I think that excitement is clear to everybody that's involved with LAFC. And I do think that the emotions probably are slightly different for somebody like Hugo and Olivier, who have played against Chelsea 20, 30 times, so I do think it's different for them than you think about someone like David Martinez, who is, come from Venezuela, and to think within a year you're playing in a Club World Cup. But this is what we're here for. We know it's not easy to be in these moments, but we have been very bold and ambitious about our intention of being a global club and doing everything we can to put a team out there and run a business that can support us being in these tournaments.
Just one final one from me. There's been some talk overseas about the fact that the stadiums won't be full for all these games. Yet we have a situation in New York where I think it's Flamengo. They may be playing in front of 50,000 this weekend, albeit in an 80,000 seat stadium. I don't know. I guess what would your message be there? I mean, the crowd numbers may still be quite good, right? And just
Yeah,
even if there are some empty seats.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is obviously designed as a run-up to the World Cup next year. I think this is this. I don't. I think this is the inaugural Club World Cup tournament. I will say this: whatever comes, I don't think there is a better country to hold this type of tournament in terms of the diversity that you do find in the States. And I can't think of another country where you could hold this, where it would be as popular it is. Now, that level of popularity, it seems like will be largely club specific. I don't know. But I do think that, what I know about soccer in this country is typically people do show up. And I can remember as a 14-year-old, there was no professional game here, and I was at the Rose Bowl in a million degrees watching games with 100,000 other people. And so I can't speak to the data and what we are to expect, but certainly I do believe that America and its diversity is the best place to hold this type of tournament to show support for these clubs that are coming from all over.
Okay. When we talk about the MLS clubs around the world, sometimes the clubs that are in the FIFA Club World Cup are looked for as an underdog in the group. In your case, there's Flamengo and Chelsea that are looked as the favorites. In which stage these clubs can face? In which stage is LAFC then that they will face you? What can they expect from LAFC in this tournament?
What can Chelsea expect?
Chelsea, Flamengo, the opponents.
Yeah, I think it is right to view us as underdogs. That said, I think it is something that we can embrace, and I think what I hope Chelsea and Flamengo and Tunisia and all these teams, I hope they walk off the field with a great level of respect as to the quality of our players and the intensity and the commitment of our players. And if we walk off the pitch every game with that, we will be proud, and I trust that the results will fall our way.
Do you feel like this is an opportunity for your club to get another level of respect just in the soccer world?
Yes, certainly. I think for us, we're representing our club, we're representing our city, we're representing our league, and this is an opportunity unlike any other that we have had to be in a global competition against the best clubs in the world. And I think if we do go out and show the potential and quality of this group, yes, I do think that the exposure on the global stage will elevate the level of respect others have for our league.
We've got time for one or two more for JT.
What do you already know about Flamengo? He's the last opponent in the group stage. What do you already know about them and are preparing about?
So, a lot. So I think everybody knows we scout South America avidly. We have people on the ground that are all across South America. So I can't say that we have scouted Flamengo as a team prior to this tournament, but certainly we are well aware of their players, their history. Through sort of passively, we know about the team because of some of the individuals that we have analyzed and scouted. We have a staff member in here who has worked in Brazil, who has more intimate knowledge about everything, all things Brazil, and our data analysts, our scouts, we go through the same process for Flamengo as we would other teams. They're a phenomenal team. I'd say arguably the best in Brazil right now, and it will be a very tough challenge for us. But as I've said, for me, this is just about us rising to the occasion.
Is there something that called more attention from you?
In terms of Flamengo or...
Flamengo.
what draws your attention is their recent success. I don't know what's happening with player sales and things. There's some rumors about them being with or without certain players, but the quality of their team is remarkable. I mean, I think Brazil obviously is well known for developing talent, and they've got some very solid, experienced players. They've also developed a bunch of young players that are still playing for them to great effect. I think the value of their team is well over 100 million. So it's a strong group.
How valuable has Igor Jesus been in letting you know about Flamengo?
He will be helpful. Igor, I mean, he had left there, so he doesn't have as intimate knowledge of this particular group, but there is some overlap.
Some institutional knowledge.
And certainly some institutional knowledge. What we do know is that for any talk of how seriously teams are going to take this tournament and whatever, and we know that we're going to approach it wholeheartedly, we expect the Brazilian teams, the South American teams to really attack this with everything they have.
Last one for JT. Anything else? All right. Thank you, John.
Online, we good?
There's a bunch online, but
Oh, are they?
if you got time.
Yeah, go for it.
We'll take a couple online.
We'll do 2 online. Let's start with Dave Denholm and then go to Ben Jacobs. Dave, go ahead and unmute.
Hey, John, you kind of alluded to the potential or the opportunity. How important is this tournament globally to be successful, like years from now, for leagues like MLS, North America, Asia, Africa? You know, not like Europe, obviously, but how important is it that this tournament takes hold for the future of these leagues as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is the inaugural tournament, so I think this is going to be a test case. I think for us, what this opportunity affords us is a chance to do it on a global stage, and it is never before has a club, any club, been able to be in a tournament like this. You know, a global tournament. You obviously have the best club tournament as it stands now is the Champions League, but that's not global. So for us, I think the success of this inaugural tournament will be very telling as to what happens in the future. And for us, you know, it can be these types of things, without sounding overly dramatic, can be franchise defining. And I think it can change the trajectory of a club with a strong performance. The only analogous thing I can think of is when you see generations of a national team perform really well in a World Cup, what that does for excitement, for development of football in that country, etc. I think that this, I don't think it'd be overstating it to say we see this as a similar opportunity.
Thank you.
All right, last question. Ben Jacobs, go ahead.
Thanks for your time, Ben Jacobs from TalkSport. Just picking up a little bit on that franchise-defining element. You've already had one big money playoff. It's $2 million per win. The money pretty much doubles if you make the knockout stage, but of course there are roster restrictions and financial wage aspects that prevent you from just spending all that money on your playing squad. So can you talk a little bit about if you double up again from 9.55 to 20 million plus, how that can actually change LAFC and where you can potentially put that money?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, I think what I mentioned earlier is that money will be used to improve the roster. I think what your question is how will we do it? And when you talk about that level of money, you have to think about, you know, certain players that are in that category of spend, and certainly we will have flexibility to add those types of players. I also think that, as I mentioned before, our owners are not in this to make money. They're here to build the best club and represent this city as best we can. And so the other ways in which we can use those funds institutionally, and whether that goes to player development, infrastructure, all these other things, certainly will be put to good use, primarily on player additions, but also throughout our operation in ways that best support our team.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you, John.
You got it.
We'll be right back with Denis Bouanga.
See you guys in 4 years. Do it again.
Olivier, you have played clubs of the level that we're seeing in this tournament many times. A lot of your teammates have not. What is the difference that they need to understand? What is different about what we see here and what is capable of some of these teams that we're going to see?
Well, I think first of all, I don't think many teams, apart maybe in pre-season, many European teams face MLS team. First of all, so I don't know if we can really compare or say the differences, but for sure there's differences. There's gap because it's top European level teams are very efficient, I would say, in the small details. Small margins make the difference at the highest level. If they have one chance to score, they will get it. So I think we need to keep our focus like we've been doing training and these past weeks with a good momentum, a good run of 10 unbeaten games. So confidence is getting higher and higher. We are really excited and very motivated. And yeah, if the boys need some advices, I'll be happy to give them some. But I just told them some of the youngsters just grab the chance to play this kind of game, have fun, enjoy the game, seize the opportunity, the moment, and yeah, just play with freedom and release the handbrake. So, and then you can really enjoy the moment and just with no regret and no frustration, because it's not gonna happen every single year. I mean, for the club, it's a great opportunity to play this competition and but certainly we will need to be at our 100% if we want to compete with them.
Does it mean something special to you to play against Chelsea? And what do you expect from Chelsea? What do you see in them?
Well, the first thing, the club changed a lot. Every section of the club is still obviously a top club. A lot of young players. As I said, I know I played only with two of them now, Reece James, I think, and Chalobah also. So yeah, a lot of movements, and it's a great feeling, because when I cross some people in the street, even in US, they are big Arsenal and Chelsea fans, and they said, like, they tell me a lot of compliments regarding my time there, and they are very thankful and grateful, and so am I. So that's where when you realize that you had a good impact on the club with the people you work with, and also for the fans. I won great trophies with them, and I will never forget. It will be always in my heart. So it's going to be a special game, but once on the pitch, we just put it on the side.
As a guy that has played at the highest level, and you've seen so many of these type of tournaments, what do you think a good showing could do for this club on the global level and MLS if LAFC performs very well in this?
Yeah, as I said, it's a great opportunity for Seattle, Inter Miami, and Los Angeles Football Club to show the quality of the league. The fact that since 10, maybe 15 years, the football, the soccer is growing up a lot, and I think quite in a good direction, and that's why it's nice to see where we stand now. The US American team, MLS team, are to compare with the top level. Even if I think also these top European teams, they will maybe feel a bit tired after a long season. So maybe we have an advantage. It's always nice to stay positive and to think we will have the opportunity to put some rhythm in a game and intensity, and I don't know, it's always some of them, I read they play 60, 70, 75 games already. So I think that's a good test for the MLS teams, and we need to grab that chance to show to Europe what we're made of.
Olivier, we know that the Flamengo match is only the last on the group stage, but what do you already know about Flamengo, and what do you know about other Brazilian clubs as well?
To be honest with you, I don't know much, even if I play with a lot of Brazilian players. I know David Luiz played for Flamengo. I know Igor Jesus play for Flamengo. I know a few teams, but we will have time to study the team, and to look what the strength and the weaknesses of the team. Yeah.
You played with Jorginho in Chelsea. And
Yeah, I've seen he signed for Flamengo now. Will he play the World Cup?
Yeah.
Wow. It's good for Flamengo. I think he's a great regulator in midfield. Very clever, technically very easy. I love playing with him. Yeah. I think it's not a good thing for us, but it's great for Flamengo, and I will be so happy to see him. Yeah. We had great time together. Yeah.
Have you thought about sending a message to Davi or to talk about Flamengo as well, for him to send some tips about?
No, but the club is doing the video guys, analysis really well the game, and we can have on every single player some videos. So I might text David if he's. No, he's not going to be around, sorry, because we don't play in Brazil, obviously. We play in Orlando. But yeah, maybe I'll text David, yeah. It's always, I'll take some news also. And maybe Willian also. I spoke to him a few weeks ago, so maybe he will give me some tips. But no, we are doing the club, the staff are doing a great job on all the informations we need to know on the teams.
And what about you're facing Chelsea and Flamengo are the main favorites in the group. How do you look to this underdog image that you're having in this group stage?
Yeah, you always have favorites and underdog in groups, but after it's what you show on a pitch, Obviously Chelsea, Flamengo, and then there's Tunis and us, but. The beauty in football is you never know before you play the game. So, and we've seen also these last years the gap between big teams and small teams are getting smaller and smaller. So, we've got our chance, and we will try to grab it and as best as we can.
What would be success for this tournament? What could you exit feeling satisfied?
Objective? We didn't talk about this with the club. Obviously, with the boys, I believe, and the staff, and the club would be delighted. It would be great to go through the group stage. I think if we can put this target in our mind, it would be amazing.
You play very, very well, but do not get out of the group stage. Can you be satisfied?
Well, you said that to a competitor, so I prefer to play bad and win. But it's nice to see, as your colleague said, to show what improvement has made the MLS teams since before. And I believe it's easier to win games when you play well. So obviously, if we play well and after we are unlucky on small details, can happen. But at least you have the feeling that you give everything, and you get the most of it. So, yeah.
Okay, we'll take two last questions online. We'll start with Ben Jacobs. Ben, go ahead.
Olivier, good to see you, Ben Jacobs from TalkSport. Can you speak a little bit about the pressure of the number 9 shirt? You wear it for LAFC, for France, for Milan. Chelsea have got a new striker in Liam Delap.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the pressure of having that 9 shirt and whether you think he can succeed at Chelsea.
I don't think it's about. For me, when I signed for Milan AC, Paolo Maldini told me on the first Zoom I had almost with him, He said, "Are you sure about the number 9?" Because he said it's kind of curse. I said it's not about the number I have in my back which will make me be good and score goals. So I said, no, I want the 9. And then I've shown him that there was no curse. I mean, and then I was doing well. So it's not about the number 9. It's more like obviously the position on the field, and the striker is very, very demanding. You can be under the spotlight when things goes really well, but you are the first also on the front line when you are not scoring goals. So you have to show some character and some strength mentality-wise. You know, you need to be strong in your head, and even in tough moments, you know, stay confident and keep working hard. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure when you play striker. It's for me, it's the best in football. But you know, there's up and down, so you need to be ready for that. But if he's got a good mentality and I think he's very talented, and the boys will help him to settle well. So yeah, I think it will be fine.
Thank you.
All right, last question. We'll go to Jack Roser.
Hi Olivier.
Hi.
You spoke about the change there's been at Chelsea, and there's been obviously a lot of players, a lot of people behind the scenes coming in and out. A lot of managers have changed as well since you were there. Do you feel that's change for a good thing that they've made all that change and they're in a good position for long-term success with the young squad?
It's a good and tough question. Thank you, my friend. I'm not gonna say it's good or not. It is good or not good. There's a new owner who's got some different ideas, and he's building a very strong team with a lot of young players. That's a strategy, and I have to say there's a lot of quality in the room, so it's very positive, good for the future. But as I always said, you know, you need time also to build the best team and to win the big trophies. So back in the days when I was at Chelsea, I joined a strong team, you know, and we won the best trophies, and you know the team was really good and used to win a lot. Now they just need more time with the young players, and I think they are on a good path. They won the Conference Europa League, and I think it's a good start, and there's so much talent in the room, so I'm not worried for them. But yeah, so many things change, and it'll be nice to see some of the person who work for the club. I know, and also Reece and Trevor.
Cheers, Olivier.
Cheers.
Can we do one more?
Yeah, one more.
Sorry. Peter Rutzler, The Times.
Hi Olivier, thanks for your time. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you a little bit more about being a successful striker at Chelsea. You mentioned walking through the streets and the supporters of Arsenal and Chelsea speaking fondly to you. Is it difficult to go into Chelsea as a striker? Is there something that's made it that much more of a challenge?
Well,
just the history, the track record beforehand, the fact that there aren't as many who have done so well as you have.
Sorry, by the way, I've got. I didn't do it on purpose. I've got the red jersey today. Don't get me wrong. Should have put a blue. Look, I had amazing time in Chelsea. I played with amazing players. It was so easy for me to settle well in the team. Eden, Willian, Pedro around me. You know, it was so easy to play with them. So I like pressure. I need it, and I think a striker need to deal with it. I knew signing for Chelsea back in the days was like an improvement, because when I left Arsenal, Chelsea was one of the best team of the league, like winning the most trophies with City. I had to left, and I'm really thankful one more time to Arsene, if he hears me, to let me go where I wanted to go. And at the end, I arrived at Chelsea. I think it surprised a lot of people, and I had the trust of Antonio Conte, and yeah, it went really well for me. So I think being a striker at Chelsea is very enjoyable. Like you can see all the great strikers, who played for the club and was successful. So if you are really motivated and with a bit of talent, it's easy to adapt to this team.
Denis, what do you think this team is capable of in this tournament? What to you would constitute success?
De quoi est-ce que l'équipe, tu penses, est capable pendant ce tournoi, et quel serait le succès pour cette équipe-là?
Je pense qu'on est capable de grandes choses. Voilà. On est capable de gagner des matchs, on est capable de revenir au score, même si on est mené. On l'a beaucoup vu en MLS. Après, comme je le dis, voilà, c'est des grosses équipes. À nous de montrer ce qu'on vaut. Et je pense qu'on a les qualités pour rivaliser avec ces équipes. Voilà, on les connaît très bien, ils ne nous connaissent pas, justement, ça peut jouer sur ça. Et puis voilà.
We can be at the same level as the other team. We can play at the same level. We can lead. We can win these games. I think they don't know us much, so we can be that surprise. La deuxième partie, c'est sur le succès. Pour toi, qu'est-ce que ça sera
pour moi, pour l'équipe.
Pour que LAFC, ça soit le succès.
Le succès que ça peut avoir sur.
Est-ce que c'est de passer le deuxième tour? Ça serait le
oui, ok, d'accord. Ok. Je pense que de passer le second tour. De passer le second tour, je pense que ça va être un très grand succès pour LAFC. Et personnellement, moi aussi, c'est ce que je veux. Mais je pense que chaque player, chaque joueur aimerait passer ce second tour et aller très loin dans la compétition. Je pense que c'est chaque motivation de chaque joueur, en tout cas, donc, pour ce tournoi-là.
Yeah. For this tournament to be a success, it's at least to pass the first round.
I'm sure you're aware of the incident a year ago with Enzo Fernandez. Obviously, some time has passed now, but it was a very serious issue. Playing against a player like that and a team like that, does that motivate you anymore, or does that change anything for you at all ahead of this first game?
Si ça me motive un peu plus de jouer contre des équipes comme ça.
Enzo Fernandez, you said?
Yeah, does the incident from then provide any motivation, or does it not?
Tu sais, il y a eu un incident avec Enzo Fernandez?
Pour les joueurs français?
Can you maybe
he was
remind?
involved in an incident where he made some racist comments about French players.
Ouais, c'est pour ça. Pour moi, ça change pas grand-chose. Voilà, Enzo a le droit de faire des erreurs. Voilà, je sais qu'il y en a qui accepteront pas ses excuses, il y en a oui. Après, moi, voilà, je différencie les choses. Je sais que c'est pas trop bien ce qu'il a fait, mais bon, après, voilà, il s'est excusé aux yeux du monde. Il a dit que c'était pas trop ça. Mais bon, voilà, moi, je vais jouer contre lui comme si je jouais contre quelqu'un d'autre. Mais voilà, c'est vrai que ce qu'il a fait, c'était pas bien. Et voilà, maintenant, il le sait qu'il faudra plus recommencer par rapport à ces choses-là.
He did something wrong. He apologized to the world. Let's move forward. I'm gonna play against another player. There is no animosity there. We all make mistakes. He apologized, so we can move forward.
In this group stage, you will face Flamengo. What do you know about Flamengo and other Brazilian clubs?
Qu'est-ce que je pense de Flamengo?
Qu'est-ce que tu connais de Flamengo aussi?
Alors franchement, je connais rien du tout de Flamengo. Voilà, je sais que David Luiz a joué là-bas, mais sans plus. Je sais qu'ils ont signé Jorginho, et sinon le reste, je connais rien du tout. On m'a juste dit que voilà, c'était une très bonne équipe du Brésil, avec de très bons joueurs. très technique et voilà, je pense que s'ils sont là, c'est pas par hasard.
It's a very good team, very technique. They got a new player, Jorginho. I think they signed Jorginho. I don't know much about them, just that they are technical, a good team, and they are at the World Cup club, so must be good.
Anything else in person? All right. Let's move to go online. Tiago, go ahead and unmute.
Hi guys, good afternoon. Thiago Brandão from Território MLS Brazil. You've been receiving a lot of praise here in Brazil, and there's been a lot of talk about Flamengo per se is trying to stop you. I'd like to know how you see the match against Flamengo and what you're thinking about this action coming from Brazil to you.
Donc tu reçois plein de compliments au Brésil,
Ouais,
il voit tout ce que tu fais. Comment est-ce que tu abordes le match contre Flamengo et qu'est-ce que ça te fait de recevoir ces compliments du Brésil?
Alors avec tous les compliments que je reçois plein de messages de Brésiliens qui me disent viens jouer au Brésil, viens jouer à Flamengo. Ça fait toujours plaisir de recevoir ce genre de messages. Voilà, et je les remercie vraiment tous. Et puis de jouer contre Flamengo, justement je vais me mesurer à une équipe brésilienne, une très grosse équipe brésilienne. Et voilà, comme je dis, je les connais pas. Et voilà, peut-être qu'après le tournoi, je les regarderai un peu plus. Je ne sais pas du tout. Mais comme j'ai dit, je suis très content de jouer contre Flamengo, une équipe brésilienne.
All right. I'm really happy to receive all the praises from Brazil, from Flamengo. Makes me happy. I receive a lot of messages, so this is great. Against Flamengo, as I said, it's a great team. I don't know much about this team, but I'm looking forward to this game. Maybe after there will be a team that I will follow on the TV. So, but I'm looking forward to this game.
Any last questions? Michael McKnight, go ahead.
Thank you, Logan. Thank you, Denis. I apologize if this has been asked already, but you can expect to play against right back Reece James and your countryman Malo Gusto. I'm wondering what you've seen from them in your preparation for this match and your opponents on the right side for Chelsea's back line.
Comment va être ma préparation durant le match parce que je joue contre des adversaires comme ça?
Ouais, avant le match parce que tu vas jouer contre Reece James ou Malo Gusto.
Alors ma préparation sera la même. Voilà, je différencie vraiment personne. Voilà, je sais que s'ils jouent à Chelsea, c'est que c'est des très bons joueurs. Après voilà, comme je l'ai dit, ma préparation sera la même, à moins de faire la différence à chaque fois que je suis sur le terrain contre des adversaires comme ça.
My preparation will be the same. Like any other players, I don't differentiate my preparation to any players, so will be the same. It's a great team. It's Chelsea, but no differences.
Excellent.
What does it mean to you, one, to be in this tournament, but a chance to play Flamengo?
O que significa para você poder jogar, assim, estar nesse campeonato e dois, jogar contra o Flamengo?
Um momento muito especial, falando da partida contra o Flamengo. É um clube que eu tenho um imenso carinho e uma grande oportunidade de estar participando do Mundial de Clubes com o LAFC e acredito fazer uma boa campanha.
It's an incredible moment to be playing in this tournament and also against Flamengo. It's a team that I have a lot of care for and yeah, it's an incredible opportunity for us.
You've been away from them for almost a year now. What kind of insight are you able to give Steve, give the team on what Flamengo is about?
Agora que você está quase um ano, né, fora jogando com o Flamengo e tal, desde que você saiu, que tipo de informação você pode compartilhar com a equipe aqui de LAFC, né, sabendo que você já jogou para eles?
Informação é uma grande equipe, mas o que nos convém, o que nos importa é a nossa equipe, como a nossa equipe está, como a nossa equipe vai se comportar durante cada partida. E acredito que e a gente está trabalhando da melhor forma para fazer bom trabalho.
They're an incredible team. They're an incredible team, but what's more important is how we are as a club at LAFC, and so that's what I am focused on.
Igor, lá no Brasil deu uma viralizada agora recentemente no teu jogo contra o Inter Miami, um lance seu com o Messi numa dividida mais dura. Como é que foi esse momento? Como é que foi enfrentar o Messi? Nessas horas tem que chegar junto, não arregar mesmo para o cara. Como é que foi isso aí? Você chegou a conversar com ele também, junto com você?
Foi um momento ali, pra gente é magnífico, né? Um lance aquele contra o melhor jogador do mundo, um cara que eu admiro bastante também. E foi isso.
Translate that.
It was yeah.
What was the question?
Você quer perguntar? No. His question was about how was that game against Messi and Inter Miami? E que mais que você perguntou?
Teve lance que ele marcou, uma dividida que viralizou no Brasil. Como é que foi esse lance para ele?
He had a move there that went viral in Brazil, and so he was asking what did that mean for him, and he was saying that it was que foi muito importante, né? Tipo esse momento e tal. That it was incredibly important. Yeah.
I was wondering if the players on this team that are not from this country like yourself understand what a run in this tournament could actually do for the name recognition of LAFC along with MLS.
If they understand?
Yeah, if they really comprehend like what getting out of the group stage would mean. I mean...
Ele está perguntando, jogadores né, que não são aqui dos Estados Unidos, se vocês também, tipo, ele está perguntando, entendem, né, tipo, o significado do clube de ir nesse nível global, né, sendo que você, né, é do Brasil e tal.
Claro, com certeza. A gente está muito entusiasmado com essa oportunidade e vamos deixar a nossa vida a cada partida.
He says, of course. Of course, we know we're incredibly excited for this moment and we're going to give it our all.
Okay, we'll move to take questions online. Francisco Martins, go ahead.
Olá Igor, tudo bem? Aqui é o Francisco Martins de Portugal. No início do ano estavas a jogar aqui em Portugal no Estrela da Amadora, uma equipa de Lisboa, mas que nem sequer é das maiores de Portugal. O que é que nos podes dizer sobre a mudança tão rápida que tiveste e sobre o facto de estás agora a jogar o Mundial de Clubes?
Sim, foi uma passagem muito rápida, mas muito significante. E cara, as coisas aconteceram muito rápido, mas acredito que me adaptei bem e acredito que estou pronto e determinado para fazer o meu melhor na MLS, no Mundial de Clubes, aqui pelo LAFC.
So, ele pergunta, ele perguntou sobre o clube do Portugal?
Isso, sobre a minha passagem pelo clube e a diferença de vir para cá para a MLS e disputar o Mundial.
Mas você jogou em Portugal?
Sim.
Tá.
4 meses.
So he's asking, you know, how is the difference from playing in Portugal to coming here at the MLS? And then a sua resposta foi que a transição foi boa, né?
Sim.
Que foi tranquilo.
Sim.
And he's saying that his transition was good, it was tranquil and calm. Algo mais?
Não,
importante. Foi isso?
Sim,
Tranquilo?
sim.
That it was a tranquil transition.
Any other questions, Francisco?
Yes. Igor, de facto, tu começaste a tua carreira na América do Sul, depois passaste pela Europa, agora estás nos Estados Unidos. Vês, de alguma forma, nós aqui na Europa sentimos um pouco o centro do mundo em termos de futebol. Achas que as equipas europeias podem ser surpreendidas neste Mundial de Clubes?
Não, acredito que tem uma diferença, né, entre as equipes europeias com sul-americanas aqui da MLS, mas são todas grandes equipes e será uma grande competição com grandes equipes.
So he asked kind of what is the difference. Igor started his career in South America, then he went to Europe, then he went to the United States. Kind of what is the difference there that he sees? And Igor's response was that they're all really amazing teams, top-notch teams, high quality. Essa qualidade que mas cada tem, né, sua qualidade, sua forma. So that each team has their special kind of aspect to them.
Thiago Brandão, go ahead.
Boa tarde, Igor. Thiago Brandão, do Território MLS Brasil. Você acabou descobrindo meio que de última hora que enfrentaria o Flamengo nesse Mundial. Você já até comentou sobre, mas eu queria que você respondesse se alguém no clube já tocou nesse assunto, já te perguntou algo sobre o Brasil, sobre o Flamengo em si, e como vai ser esse reencontro com o clube carioca para você.
Cara, pra mim é como eu já disse em várias entrevistas, né, que o pessoal me pergunta. Vai ser uma partida pra mim muito especial, cara. Porque é um clube, como eu sempre digo, eu tenho um carinho imenso pelo Flamengo. Mas, cara, é pensar jogo a jogo e fazer o nosso melhor.
So he asked what he said, I know I imagine that you've been asked this a bunch of times, but what is it like coming from Brazil, playing for now against Flamengo since you played for Flamengo? And he said that I have a lot of love for the team. It's going to be amazing, but the most important thing is that we do our best and just take every game, game by game.
Thiago Arantes, go ahead.
Hello everyone, I will ask you in Portuguese. Igor, Thiago Arantes aqui do GE, do Brasil. Primeiro eu queria saber, Igor, se você recebeu muitas mensagens de torcedores do Flamengo depois que passou, né, do América do México, depois dessa classificação, porque muitos brasileiros, muitos flamenguistas acompanharam. A primeira pergunta é se você recebeu muitas mensagens dele e você fez algo que muitos flamenguistas gostariam de ter feito, que era vingar o América do México, porque o América do México é um trauma grande do Flamengo pela Copa Libertadores de 2008, que o América do México elimina o Flamengo. O Flamengo não vai ter a chance de eliminar o América do México, mas você teve essa chance. Você acha que... Como você se sente, né, tendo essa chance de ter vingado o Flamengo? Obrigado.
Essa eu não sabia. Por essa eu não sabia, mas, cara, que... Hoje eu sou jogador do LAFC, a partida que fizemos contra o América... Foi um momento... Não recebi muita mensagem, mas eu vi algumas repercussões sobre jogar contra o Flamengo e tal. E, cara, tô muito feliz e é isso.
So he asked, one, if he received a lot of messages from the fans from Flamengo in Brazil, and then also that Flamengo had the chance to play against América in the Copa de Libertadores. And so he asked what was Thiago's feelings around being able to do that, being that he came and played for Flamengo before. So he said he didn't actually know about that they had the chance to play against each other, and that he hasn't received as many messages, but he's just really excited to continue on.
All right, last two questions. We'll start with Francisco. Last question.
Igor, como é que te sentes fisicamente? Porque começaste a época aqui em Portugal, já terminou, fizeste uma época cá, agora a época aí está a meio. Como é que te sentes fisicamente e se achas que o facto da tua equipa neste momento ter a temporada a meio é uma vantagem neste Mundial de Clubes?
Não entendi o final.
Se sentes que o facto da tua temporada estar a meio e a equipa estar dentro do ritmo, ao contrário de outras que estão a começar a temporada ou que estão a acabar, é uma vantagem para vocês?
Sim. Eu me sinto muito bem fisicamente. E quando cheguei aqui, claro que já vinha da Europa, né? Porque o calendário é diferente, mas me sinto muito bem fisicamente.
He asked how he's feeling physically, considering that they're in kind of just half of the season. And Igor was saying that even with his transition from Europe, that he's feeling very strong and he's feeling great physically.
Awesome. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you, Igor. We'll be back with Olivier Giroud.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.